Okay, hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and this video is entitled Why I Trained in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu but would never rely on it in a real fight. I also have about 6 to 6.5 years of training in a full time 15-hour gym hours per week, training in karate and Japanese Jiu Jitsu, about 6 to 6.5 years, if I did my math right and adding up the time I was in it twice. And about a year and a half of Gracie Jiu Jitsu at Gracie United under Raphael Ellwanger, and about 2 additional months at the Dana White's UFC gym in Baton Rouge. And the only reason I quit that is because the stupid bus schedule for the city bus wasn't able to get me to class back in time enough to make sure that I actually got to see the whole class. All right. Um, but be that as it may, and they also had a boxing conditioning at the UFC gym too, which I also took part in that. Um, but my beef with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is that it is heavily rules reliant. Um, what do I mean by that? Well, it's actually designed for cage fights and for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu only fights, where you have rules such as no biting, no eye gouging, no throat jabs, no groin strikes, no groin grabs, and so forth. And also, they also in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu only tournaments, they actually ban the Japanese Jiu Jitsu locks that I learned in the Ishinryu karate class and Japanese Jiu Jitsu class that I trained in for 6 years. They ban almost everything, in fact. Um, except moves that the Gracie family allegedly invented, which actually they didn't. This was always taught in Japan anyway. Um, but anyway, why I would not rely on Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in a real street self defense fight is because when you go to the ground, first of all, in a real street fight, most street fights start from a standing position, so you may as well know how to fight standing up. Is the first problem. The second problem is when you fall on the ground in the street, you're not on a padded mat like a BJJ mat or an MMA mat. You're on concrete or asphalt or dirt or gravel or rocks or whatever. So you're going to get hurt a lot worse when you fall on concrete than you are when you fall on a 2-inch thick mattress or pad. All right. So, uh, in my view, it doesn't hurt to know Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in case you end up on the ground in a street self defense situation. But it's not like I'm going to sit here and hope to go to the ground with my opponent in a street self defense situation. There's a video online on YouTube of a young man defending himself against an attacker in a street self defense situation right outside his place of employment. And he was, I think, a BJJ blue belt, evidently. And he tried to grapple with his attacker. And first of all, none of the bystanders who were standing there and eyewitnessed what happened, none of them joined in to help him, by the way. So you cannot count on bystanders to help you. There were about 6 or 7 bystanders that were clearly visible in the video that the security camera caught. And none of them ever stepped in to help this kid that was attacked randomly for no reason whatsoever, which was clearly evident on the video. So don't count on bystanders to help you. First problem there. Uh, but anyway, in the midst of grappling with his attacker, the attacker started biting him all over his shoulders and back and could have bitten him on the neck, but did not for some reason. Thank God that the kid didn't get bit in the carotid artery and bleed to death. But he got bit all over his back and neck and shoulders, at least 6 bites, I think he said, after the fact. And I commented on the video and told him, you know what works better than Brazilian Jiu Jitsu? A simple groin kick. I said, you shouldn't have gone to the ground. You should have just kicked him in the nuts. So there's a reason that Japanese jiu-jitsu techniques almost never go to the ground intentionally in a karate class. Because when you go to the ground, you are vulnerable to a potential second attacker joining in, and you're vulnerable to just a bigger and stronger opponent beating the hell out of you. And regardless of what anyone says, you're not generally going to beat somebody who is more than 2 weight classes bigger than yourself, no matter how good you are at martial arts in terms of a wrestling match or a grappling match on the ground. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to bench press them off you, and you're not going to shrimp out from under them either. All right. Whereas, at least with Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and karate, the combination of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and karate, you can stay on your feet. You can, if you worst case scenario, if you're on your feet, you can turn and run, and hopefully you're a faster runner than your attacker. But excluding that, at least you can stay on your feet and you can beat a bigger attacker by using your speed and angles and so forth. All right. Or by using joint locks if you eventually get them in a joint lock, because joint locks neutralize strength. So I think that's my main focus there on this video. And ironically, I tapped out the BJJ black belts using the stuff I learned in the karate class 16 years earlier. So it's not all of what it's cooked up to be anyway. And some of them were professional fighters. One of them had 20 professional wins in mixed martial arts, and I tapped him out 3 out of 4 rolls. 2 true live rolls, and one time I reversed the disarmor that he had put on me, and I put him in a disarmor and tapped him out. All right. So I guess that's the end of the video, because I'm not sure what else to talk about. It's on the same topic here. But thank everybody for watching, if anyone watches this. I don't get a lot of views anyway, but if somebody learns anything, that's good for them.